Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant. And today, in this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the entire Inversion Reinforcer for Season 3. Many of you guys have asked about this, many of you guys said, which perks should I choose, all this kind of stuff. Okay, most build videos will tell you which perks to choose, but if you want an overall overview of what all of them are, you want to maybe customize your perks yourself, then this is the video for you. Please keep in mind that your Inversion Reinforcer changes every season, so every season you're going to get one of these, alright? Great. Now, before we begin, as always, if you haven't already done so and you like the information I provide you guys, please register me as your content creator. Link is in the video description. I'll be very grateful if you guys do that. Second, please, if you haven't already done so, check out some of my music on SoundCloud. I'm RealAsianRobot on SoundCloud. I get paid every single time people play these tracks. Alright, it's literally free to do so. You play any of these tracks, I get paid. So, have a listen to my music, and I'll be very grateful if you enjoy it. Thank you very much if you decide to do that. Let's get started, shall we? Now, the Inversion Reinforcer, and yes, this is Nell. We're currently working on her build. Look at her. Isn't she super pretty? Alright, you gotta get her Attack on Titan outfit. But anyway, this is Nell. Okay, once you're done staring at her, if you look toward the left-hand side, okay, there's preset, descendant modules, manage fellows, manage vehicles, and inversion reinforcement. This will only unlock after you've done the quest. If you're totally new to the game and you do not have the inversion reinforcer, inversion reinforcement option down there, please make sure you've already followed all the main quest lines and things like that. It should also be in your boost path, but either way, whatever. Once you have unlocked it, you go inside, it should look something like this. Now, when you first start the Inversion Reinforcer, it'll look like that. You have to level up your Inversion Reinforcer and get energy. How do you level up your Inversion Reinforcer? Very simple. As you do any activity in the game, you will get some Inversion Reinforcer particles. Now, in order to get Inversion Reinforcer particles, if you go to the Axion Plains, any of these missions right there, do you see the stats that it gives you? Gold, XP, and then the next one is Inversion Reinforcer, then Weapon XP, and then Arcade Tuning XP is down the bottom. All right, each mission gives you 500 Inversion Reinforcer points. So you can do these to level up your Inversion Reinforcer. That's how we did it this particular season. I'm sure there's more efficient ways to do it, but that's how we did it because it's the new content. You may as well kill two birds with one stone. Okay, so once you level it up, all right, you'll be able to progress along the tree. Okay, you'll be able to progress along the tree. And okay, the first three nodes all require one energy point each. The third node requires 3. After you unlock, so that means each row requires a total of 6 points. And once you unlock this one, you will get the passive ability as well. The passive abilities are always active, but if you take a look down the bottom, you'll see that you can only pick 3 perks. You can only have 3 active perks and all the passives activated, all right? So choosing your 3 perks is what most builds are about. By choosing the correct 3 perks, you can enhance your build. If you don't do that, then, well, your build's going to suck, all right? Now, these don't provide super awesome benefits, all right, except for one, which is very important for pretty much every build, but they do help your builds out, and they are very useful, okay? So let's go through each row, and I'll tell you what the perks are in each row, okay? So let's go through it together. The first row is called the Hunt Tree, all right? The Hunt row, Hunt branch, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we just call it the Hunt Tree. First ability is called Focus Boost. When you defeat an enemy, it gives you the Focus Boost buff. This goes up to 5 stacks. It lasts for 30 seconds, and it will reduce skill cost by 0.8 per stack. So the total reduction is 0.8 times 5, which is 4%. 4% skill cost might not sound like much, but it can help you in certain builds to sort of combine together with the skill cost reduction that you already have, allowing you to last longer. Okay. Next is strike point amplification. When you land a multi-hit with a firearm, it will grant you strike point amplification. Strike point amplification makes it so that weak point damage is increased by 9% for 30 seconds up to 3 stacks. This requires you to hit a multi-hit with your weapon. So if your weapon is not a multi-hit type weapon, this is useless. Don't pick it. Okay? Next, ammo system. When you land a firearm critical hit, it will give you ammo system, giving you plus 5% reload speed for 30 seconds up to 5 stacks. So total is 25% reload speed. Take note, this is only for weapons for firearms that can hit criticals, okay? Last is RK Circulation Tactic. On hitting an enemy with a skill, you will be granted RK Circulation Tactic, which can give you 24% additive cooldowns, okay? Keep in mind that the cap is 90%. If you're already at cap, this is useless, all right? And it gives you this cooldown for 10 seconds. The cooldown on this skill itself is 25 seconds, so for 15 seconds, you don't have the bonus cooldowns. So I don't like to rely on it. I don't ever use it. The passive, though, of the first hunt tree is so good. When you hit an enemy with a skill or firearm, you will inflict a debuff on them for 10 seconds. Incoming damage plus 13% straight up, it's additive. So this is like, you just get a straight up 13% extra of whatever your final damage is, which is beautiful, all right? This effect has a 30-second cooldown. So keep in mind that you will only have it up essentially 1/3 of the time, but even then, that's dead useful. All right, so make sure to hit a big attack during the 10-second window. Then during the remaining window, you can chill for a bit. And when it comes back, you hit a big attack again. Essentially, that's how it works. Okay? Now, for the attribute tree, okay, these are all the same, roughly. How they work is that by choosing the element fire, chill, toxic, or electric, when you hit an enemy with a firearm, it will grant you the element's focus rounds. So electric focus rounds will grant you electric focus rounds, right? Makes sense. Okay, electric focus rounds will add electric skill attack up to 4.8% of your firearm attack for 30 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Okay, so what does that mean? 24% additional firearm attack. All right, basically 24% of your firearm attack will be converted to electric attack, which is beautiful. All right, as long as you take advantage of your enemy's elemental weakness, you will always do mondo damage. In addition to this, the passive is one of the best in the game. Enhanced focus rounds states that when you are at maximum focus round stacks, so remember this goes up to 5, you will, when you hit an enemy with a firearm, give them the bypass immunity debuff for 30 seconds. Each stack lowers all attribute resistance by -4%. It goes up to 5 stacks. All right, so no matter what attribute they are, lower their immunity and you're good. All right, so I love bypass immunity. It's so good. So good. Okay, so most builds will always have one of these selected. One of your perks should always be the type of focus rounds that matches your enemy's weakness. Take that into account and you should be good to go. Okay, great. Next is your recovery tree. This is all about survival. The first one is called selective cellular stimulation. This will give you one of the effects every 30 seconds. You've got a 60% chance to recover 19.2% of your hit points, 30% chance to recover 33.6%, 10% chance to get 43.2%, and 2% of your max MP. Okay, so this is very good for those that need additional health regeneration. Glay makes a lot of use of this, okay? But on most other characters, you'll be taking the MP version of this, okay? The second one is called rolling defense. When you roll, you've got a 70% chance to recover 4% of your max shield. This is useful on certain characters, like Kyle, where he needs to get his shields back up to full so he can use them to deal even more damage, right? So rolling defense works well for those types of builds. Because you can basically just, if you've got a lot of cooldowns, you can just roll forever, just so you know. Selective neurostimulation. Okay, this gives you one of the following effects every 45 seconds. Essentially, 60% chance of recovering 12.4% of your max MP, 30% chance of recovering 21.7%, and a 10% chance of recovering 27.9% of your max MP and 7.2% of your max hit points. This is usually chosen by most MP-consuming Descendants so that you're always topped up. Basically, every 45 seconds, it helps you recover to full, okay? If you find that this is not useful, though, feel free to drop it. Last but not least, probabilistic recovery system, okay? When you get a HP and MP recovery orb, you've got a 50% chance to recover a multiplicative 11% of your max hit points and 5% of your max MP, okay? Don't worry about the multiplier, just take note. It's 11% of your max HP, 5% of your max MP. But you got a 50-50 chance whenever you pick up a HP and MP orb to get this additional bonus. So It's either you get it or you don't. Okay. So unlike these two, which are time-based, this one is just whenever you pick up an orb. The passive, though, this season is really good. Whenever your hit points are 50% or lower, and this is always active, it's on a 25-second cooldown, but it will basically, whenever your hit points is 50% or lower, you will recover 20% of your max HP, because you're going to recover 4% of your max HP every 5 seconds. Every second for 5 seconds. So total is 20%. So it does take 5 seconds to kick in, but basically every 25 seconds, you're going to recover, which is really good. All right, I love self-recovery, but it will only trigger when you're less than half health. So take note. If something one-shots you, this will never trigger, so you're still going to die. Okay, that's the recovery tree. It's all about survival. Well, helping you survive in the field. There's also another tree called survival tree. I forgot that they renamed this. Anyway, the survival tree is about a different kind of survival. I would have preferred they call this defense, but anyway, it's more defensive in nature. All right. When you are hit by an enemy, it will grant you emergency antibody generation. Basically, emergency antibody generation will give you all attribute resistance increased by 200 for 20 seconds, and you can have up to 10 stacks of this. There's no cooldown. It just relies on the enemy hitting you. Okay, so take note of that. Next is deploy hardened shell. When you're hit by an enemy, it'll grant you deploy hardened shell. Deploy hardened shell reduces incoming damage by 1%. All right, it will reduce incoming damage by 1% up to 10 stacks for 20 seconds. This is good if you've got a lot of enemies that hit you rapidly over time. It gives you a 10% damage reduction in addition to your defenses and everything else, which is beautiful. Absolutely, if I'm not using one of these recovery tree nodes, I will use deployed hardened shell. It's so good. 10% is nothing to sneeze at. Next, when HP is 50% or lower, it will grant you pain suppression. Pain suppression increases your maximum hit points by 11.7% for 15 seconds. This is absolutely useless compared to the passive because 11.7% doesn't really help. You've already got so many hit point multipliers in your external components that this 11.7% is utterly garbage. Don't ever pick this. Unless somebody can prove me wrong, which I don't think so, this is completely garbage. Okay, shield particle reconfiguration. When you are hit by an enemy, it grants you shield particle reconfiguration. This is new. What will happen is that your defense will increase by 10% and max shield by 2.5% per 2,500 defense for 15 seconds. When it is triggered, it guarantees a max shield increase between 22.5% and 25%. This is only useful, okay, for characters that rely upon shields. And even then, all right, it needs to be triggered and you got to have a high defense to work with this. So take note of that. If you ask me, I think it is overall a fantastic skill, but it is highly reliant on having enough defense. So make sure that you've got your defensive cores, and this should trigger and give you the maximum value. Again, it's only useful on characters that rely very heavily on their shields, okay? The passive of this is called Decontamination Protocol. When you receive a debuff, you've got a 35% chance to grant yourself Decontamination Protocol. It removes debuffs for 3 seconds and grants a debuff immunity for the 3-second duration. Cooldown is 40 seconds. It's just a nice extra passive to have. Nothing fantastic or special worth taking note of, okay? Now, last one is the seasonal tree. This one changes every season, so try not to rely on anything here. The first one is called Firearm Control Mechanism. When your firearm hits, it will grant you one of the following effects for 15 seconds. Okay, the cooldown is 30 seconds, so you have it up half the time. Precision Control will have 60% chance of granting you multi-hit damage plus 9.1. High Precision Control has a 30% chance of granting you multi-hit damage 16%. Hyper Precision, 10% chance of giving you 9.4% multi-hit chance and 20.6% extra multi-hit damage. All right? It can be very useful if you're looking to maximize DPS and you're willing to drop, say, the recovery tree for this. You can maximize your DPS and get a little extra bang for your buck if your weapon has multi-hit. Okay? Next is Pinpoint Algorithm. This is only useful if you're going to use the Exterminator. It allows you to detect 2 extra targets so you can blast them faster. Okay? Analytic Sensor Augmentation. When the Eraser's unique ability triggers to apply, analyze, or degrade, okay, it'll grant you Analytic Sensor Augmentation. This will increase your firearm attack by 5% and reload time modifier by 10% for 10 seconds. When changing weapons, it removes the analytic sensor augmentation. You only have this for 10 seconds, the cooldown is 30 seconds. To me, not worth it, it's worth having something else. Deploy Resonance Device. Okay, this one, on a skill or firearm hit to any enemy, it'll grant you Deploy Resonance Device. What this does is that it will grant you a skill duration increase of 4.9% for 10 seconds. Cooldown is 20 seconds. When a skill or firearm hits an enemy that's marked by an Deceive scan while using Nell, you will get External Resonance instead. External Resonance gives you weak point damage of 10.6% for 10 seconds, cooldown 15 seconds. Is it worthwhile? Not really. But the passive in this tree is awesome. Quantum Domain triggers whenever you use a skill, and it will grant you up to 15 stacks of this throughout the entire match. Skill effect range plus 0.8% and skill power plus 0.6%. What does that actually equate to? Well, if you guys were to check the back, if you guys were to do a quick calculation of this, okay, what you're going to see is that if we type in 0.8 and we multiply that by 15, okay, you are going to have 12% extra skill effect range. May not seem like much, but it's additive, which means it adds on to whatever mod you have on to create the final value, and this multiplies off the multiplicative value in the skill tree. Take note. Next, the skill power, although it's not much, is 0.6 multiplied by 15, giving you a 9% skill power increase. Take note, it's not a skill power modifier, it's direct skill power. It's raw skill power, which multiplies with your attribute skill power, which is damn nice. Well, attribute or non-attribute, but you guys already knew that, didn't you? So overall, the passive is, as I said, damn nice. Now, which perks would I choose for this? Plain and simple, okay? I would choose usually one of the hunt perks based on whatever I'm doing. One of the attribute perks always, one of the recovery perks always. If you do not make use of a hunt perk, for example, let's say I do not need focus boost. I'll take that out. I would most likely go for deploy hardened shell, like I said, or if I really want to, emergency antibody generation if I'm going for resistances. But most of the time I'm not, so I would just take deploy hardened shell instead. So this is what it would look like if, excuse me, if I am using the focus boost, all right, say when farming, then this is what I'll deploy, and I'll go with something like this, okay? And that's basically it. This is literally your skill tree. Most of the time you pick a recovery perk attribute to fit the enemy, and that's it. That's literally how your perks work. 95% of builds are like this. Some builds might be a little bit different, but this is 95% of the builds. And that's it. That's the end of the story. Okay, so I hope this video has helped you guys understand the Inversion Reinforcer perks. I hope this video has also helped you understand that literally most builds are going to pick the same perks anyway because they're so damn good. But at least now, you understand all of the perks. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you find my information useful, all right, make sure to register me as your content creator. And of course, don't forget to check out my music on SoundCloud, okay? Here is it once again. Every time you play my tracks, I get paid, so I'm very grateful to anyone who does that. All right, thank you very much. And last but not least, before we go, bing, here's August's top supporters. Adam Edwards just got into the top membership gifter list as well, so thank you so much for that. But basically, thanks to these people, our business carries on, and I'm so grateful. These are August's top supporters, all right? Top supporters like this get a shout out every single stream. Every single video. So they are immortalized for August. You want to get on this list? Show some love on stream, and your name is there, and you get featured at the end of every video. Thank you so much for keeping this channel running. Thank you guys for keeping me in business, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If there are any other information you guys need to know, leave a comment, and I'll try to answer you or try to make a video on it as soon as I possibly can. Okay? Thank you. See you later. Don't do anything weird while I'm gone. Okay?